Hello and welcome to Math 141. My name is Matt Lewis and I will be your instructor this quarter. This is the first of two videos that'll really get you oriented to the class. The second video is going to be about how grading works and how taking assessments works and things like that. This one's just going to be more focused on helping you navigate our Canvas page, kind of helping you get comfortable with how things are going to work in the class on a day-to-day basis. And so that's what we'll spend our time doing in this particular video. So I'm going to share my screen here to start with. And so here's what our Canvas page looks like for Math 141. You'll notice at the very top, there's a module that says Start Here. And so, of course, that's where I'm going to want you to start. There's a little welcome message from me, and then a little blurb about me. Don't worry, it's not too long or anything. But one thing I do want to point out about this little bio here is at the bottom, there is a short video I'd like you to watch. And so this gentleman's talking about the growth mindset. And in this class, it's really key that everyone goes into it with the growth mindset, which means that that you believe that you can learn mathematics, even if you stumble a little bit here and there, that if you persevere and you put in the effort, that you can get to where you want to go. And we'll be talking about this a lot more in the next video, but I really believe in that, and I try to make that really apparent in my class policies. And so one of the things that you'll find is that when I do give you assessments, that you'll have the opportunity to bring up your scores on those assessments at various times throughout the quarter. So in other words, if you have a grade you don't like on something, there's going to be the opportunity to do something about it. So please do watch that video in addition to reading the short blurb about myself, because I think it'll help set the stage for where I'm coming from as an instructor and where I hope you'll be coming from as a student as well. And then the other thing, besides what you're doing right now, which is the orientation videos, the other thing I want you to do in the Start Here module is to introduce yourself. And so here you'll just notice some questions that I'm asking here, just so that everyone can kind of learn a thing or two about one another. And you'll see that I've already posted with my responses to my own questions. And so when you want to respond to these, hit reply up here right under the questions, as opposed to down here. If you hit reply down here, then that will comment on my specific answers. And I encourage you to do that either to me or to other students in the class. And so while I don't have any points attached to this or anything, what I would ask is that you do fill this out. And then maybe if something interests you that one of your classmates says, go ahead and respond to them as well, whether it's a follow-up question or just saying, oh, hey, that's cool, I have that interest as well. All right, so let's take you a few minutes, but I'd ask that you kind of do that first thing. All right, so let's close up the Start Here module. So I'm going to basically just try to work linearly down the page here to point out the real important stuff about the class. But one thing that I need to point out from the outset is in this class, it is essential that you consistently check your Canvas messages to see if I've sent you some sort of a message that day. So just make it a daily habit to check your inbox. And so over here on the left side of your Canvas screen, if there's a little number 1 or number 2, that indicates the number of unread messages you have. So please, at least every weekday, check those so that you're up to date on anything that I'm communicating with the class, because I'm going to often give pretty important information there, such as reminders about the hours for taking an assessment or whatever. So just make sure that that's a regular part of your routine. So now let's go ahead and open up the important links module. So one of the things that, you might be taking this class online because, you've had quite a bit of experience with online classes, even online math classes, and have had a lot of success doing that. Or you might be doing this more out of necessity, just because of your schedule. And if that's the case, you might be a little bit nervous about this. How's a math class going to work online? Is this going to work well for me? So one of the things that I want to let you know right off the bat is that I'm going to be available a lot for you to interact with. And there's a couple ways we can do that. The first is I'm going to hold what I call student hours, which you may have heard of office hours for other instructors. I just call them student hours to make it clear that I would like to interact with students during this time. And so my student hours are 10:30 to 11:20 daily, and then 12 to 2 p.m. On every day except Wednesdays. And there's a couple ways you can meet with me. One, you can come to campus. I teach 2 classes on campus during winter quarter, so I'm going to be there all day. So if you want to meet with me face to face, and you have that availability, then you can stop by my office. And I'll just say it verbally now, but it is in the syllabus. My office is Glen Anthon 245. But again, that's in the syllabus as well. But then, of course, a lot of you, you're taking an online class because it doesn't work for you to be on campus regularly. And so during these student hours, I am going to have a Zoom meeting open. And the way that it works is you just simply have to click on this link here, and it will log you into my Zoom meeting. It'll put you in a waiting room at first. And if you're waiting there for a few minutes without me letting you in, it's not because I'm ignoring you or forgotten you. I probably just have either a student in my office at that time or maybe another student on Zoom, and I'm just waiting for an opportune time to, pause with that other person and then let you in. So don't be alarmed if you're waiting for a little bit in there. But this is going to be available at all these times. And if these times are problematic for you, then I just want you to communicate with me so that we can set up times that will work well for you. So I want to make sure that you get the help that you need in this class. Now, another way to get help is to use what's called Math Care for All, which is the online version of our Math Center. And so the Math Care for All, if you just click on this link, it'll, similarly to my student hours, take you to a waiting room on Zoom, and then they let you in, and then there are instructors or tutors there that'll help you out. And notice, importantly, they're open from 6 to 9 p.m. In the online Math Center Monday through Thursday. And so especially when you need help in the evenings, that's a really great option. And then this is really nothing different. This is the Math Center website here. And this is just, I guess, another way to get to Math Care for All, but it also has information about the actual face-to-face Math Center. And so here's Math Care for All. Those are the hours. Here's the link that you click on. But then there's also these in-person hours where you can drop by, both in Yakima and in Grandview. So I really encourage you to utilize the Math Center, whether it's online or in person. Here's the link to our textbook. Our textbook is completely free if you're content to just have an ebook for it. So if you click here, that'll take you right to the textbook. This is kind of the online version of it. You can also download a PDF here as well. So no need to go and actually buy a hard copy unless you're just someone who really likes to have hard copies. The grade projector is something I will talk about in the next video, so I'm going to pause that for now. If you need any kind of technology, so let's say, maybe you have a computer, but it's kind of been acting up lately, or maybe you don't have a laptop or something like that. Maybe you're relying on, more mobile devices, and that just isn't quite as convenient. You can click here to get information about accessing technology. So you can do things like check out laptops and things like that from YBC. If you think that might be you, do this right away, because supplies can run out, unfortunately. And I'm going to come back to this in a second. So important documents, here's the syllabus, of course. And then here, the rubrics are something I'll talk about in the next video a little bit more extensively, but what I want to draw your attention to now are the notes for the class. So in short, what's going to happen is I have videos for all the topics that I want you to learn. And those videos specifically follow along with these notes. And so what these notes are they are kind of partially completed notes with space for you to put solutions to things. So you'll see here, so here's, example 3, and then there's blank space here for you to do it. Example 4 and blank space for you to do it. So when you're watching the videos that I provide, those are going to follow directly along with these notes. So what you want to be doing is have these notes with you, and you want to take notes as you're watching the video, just like you would if you were in class and it was me lecturing in person or something like that. Now, there's a couple ways to approach this set of notes and to get them ready for all the videos that are going to be provided to you. Let me go back here. So one is that link that I just skipped over. So what you can do is you can download these notes. They're all just PDFs. And then you can click here on YBC printing information. And basically, if you go, I'll give you the short version of this, is that Raymond Library on campus, you have the ability to go in and print out documents, and you get something like 500 pages for free or something. So you can go in and you can print out all my notes that I've provided there completely for free. So you don't necessarily need to spend your own money or your own ink to do this. So that's one option. Another option that could be nice is if you are someone who maybe has like multiple devices, where you could pull up the videos that I provide for you on one device and then have another device that you write on, maybe like a tablet or something like that, like an iPad, of something of that nature. Then a nice tool is to use something like OpenBoard. So this is one that I use in class, which is just a free kind of digital whiteboard. And so I'll just show you how I use it. Although I have too many files in there, so that's why it's going to take me a second to get this thing open. And this isn't a plug for OpenBoard in particular. There's other things out there, but this is what it looks like. And so what I can do is I can go up to this little button here and I can import, or I can take the PDF notes that I've provided and I can download them into OpenBoard just by clicking on this. And then I'll just show you what it looks like when you've done that. So here's my standards 1 through 5 notes. And there's those same notes that I was showing you, and I can click from page to page, and then I can, I can draw on this. And the nice thing is when I'm done taking my notes, then I can go back and I can hit export, and I can export it as just another PDF. And so then what you'll have is a file that's all your notes with everything filled out. So if you're more, you like to do everything digitally, then something like this could be a nice option for you. So one way or the other, either having those notes digitally where you can write on them, or getting them printed out, either just printing them out from your house or coming to the school and printing those out. One of those two things you really want to do, because you want to, one way or the other, have these notes in front of you when you're getting the video lessons. Okay, so speaking of video lessons, I'm going to open up this one. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that the modules here are broken into these things called standards, standard 1, standard 2, standard 3. That'll make a little bit more sense after the second video, but for now, just think that they're the topics of the class. So I'm going to open up topic number 3 here and kind of walk you through the different things that you'll find in the module. So at the very top of every module, there's a rubric. So it says standard 3 rubric. And the rubric is simply, first of all, a description of the topic. So this one says solve absolute value, polynomial, and rational inequalities algebraically and graphically. And then down here, again, I'm going to go into this in more depth in the next video, but this is basically just describing, like, okay, what does it look like if you really know this topic well? What does it look like if you're developing? You kind of know it, but there's still some work to do, and so on. And so that's this is going to have to do with the scoring system, but this is in itself is just what the topic is. So the rubric's there. Then the second thing is a link to that specific section of the textbook. So if I click on this, it'll open up not only the e-text, but it'll open up to that specific section. And so you can read through that section. Anytime you have, one of these little windows open, especially if you want a bigger window, you can always click on this up here and it'll open it in a new tab for you. So then that might be a lot nicer to use, a lot larger on your screen. All right. And then next comes the video notes. Okay, so the video notes are the video lessons that go along with the notes that I was just talking about. And I've labeled these by what pages we're talking about here. So this video covers standards 1 through 5 notes, pages 25 through 27. And this label is important because when I show you the calendar in a few minutes, I write it on the calendar exactly which pages you should be doing each day. So try to really keep you on a nice schedule. So, and then after that, there are supplemental videos. So supplemental videos, you'll notice they're marked optional. These are just additional videos that are done by someone besides me that I just figure, okay, I'm going to provide some other videos. Maybe the way I explain it isn't quite working for you. So then you can click here and you can see a number of video options and just say, okay, maybe I'll try seeing someone else explain it a little bit differently. And I guess I didn't actually click on the videos that I make. Let me do that real quick, just so you can see what this looks like. And I'm going to mute it just because the sound doesn't always come through. So you can see, if you ever have seen Khan Academy or something like that, it's going to be, me talking, writing on here. So basically in the Khan Academy style is what you're going to see. And then hopefully you're taking your notes on the document that you've printed out, or you're doing that on the computer along with these videos. Okay. Now, then right here, we have what's called a Newton assignment. So the one part of this class that does cost you a little bit of money is the homework system called Newton Alta. And I don't use things in my class that cost students money lightly. What I'll say is that I've asked students since starting to use this, is this worth the money to you? And what it is, it's $40. Is this worth the $40 to you to have all the resources that it provides? And almost all students say, yeah, it's worth that money. I'd rather use this than a free system that doesn't have the same kind of resources. And so just to click on this, you can kind of walk you through how these assignments work. So the first thing is that it says welcome, please complete a purchase or enter an access code to access your Newton course. So I'm going to hit purchase here, and what you'll want to do is select single term access. Okay, that's going to be the one that you'll want. AltaPass is nice if you're going to have multiple classes that use this, but only a couple other instructors use Newton Alta, so your chances of using it again next quarter are not incredibly high. So what I would suggest is probably just do the single term access. What you can do, however, is let's say, well, for example, maybe you get a few days into this class and you say, you know what, I'd really rather take this in person because, you know, we do have some Math 141s in person. If you think there's any chance of that at all, that you might want to switch up what your schedule looks like after a couple days, then rather than purchasing it on day one, you might click on courtesy access. That'll give you 2 weeks for free. And so that might just be the safest option. So I go ahead and I hit, there we go, start now. Now to show you how this works, on second thought, I think I'm going to use a different assignment. Let's scroll down to standard 5 here. It's just kind of got a simpler setup for me to quickly show you things. So the way Newton Alta works is rather than having a set number of questions that you do whenever you're working on homework, it will have a few different objectives. I believe this one has 3 different objectives. And within those objectives, there's a set of questions. And if you show rather quickly that you understand a particular objective really well, you actually don't do very many problems in that area. If, however, you show that you need more practice, then it'll give you more questions. So there's not a set number. It's just going to be kind of until you have it mastered. So for example here, you'll notice this circle here. It says this objective is find the domain of a function defined by an equation. Okay, so here's an equation. I'm supposed to find the domain of this thing, which of course you'll learn how to do when it comes to the video lessons that we work on. And let's see here. I'm going to give this as the answer. And I'll hit submit. And it says, great, that's correct. And what you'll notice is that up here, that circle that I was working on is now partially filled in. So I'm going to hit continue. All right, so they ask me kind of another question along these lines. And let's see, I'll go ahead and answer this. Okay, so I got that one correct again. Now notice the circle's even more filled in. So you can see probably I only need to answer probably about 2 more questions, and then I will have that objective completely finished. I'm going to hit continue. Now notice my circle is now gone, right? But it hasn't forgotten what I've done. It's just that this is a different objective, right? So it's going to skip around a little bit. So don't be alarmed by that. If you have your circle partially filled in, then all of a sudden it's not anymore. It's just because it's moved on to a different objective. This one says find the domain and range of a function defined by a graph. Okay, so here, let me give a couple of incorrect answers here. 0, 1. And so I'll kind of show you what it's like to get things wrong. All right, so sorry, that's incorrect. Try again. I'm going to try the same thing again. It always gives you 2 tries. So on my second try now, it goes ahead and it gives me the answers and then gives me an explanation down here of what I should have done. So, okay, so I will read that. And then hopefully on this next one, I'll do better. But let's say I don't do better. Let's get it wrong again. Okay, there's the right answer. There's an explanation. Thank you very much. All right, now notice it's kicked me back to my original one that I was doing well on, right? It says, okay, well, why don't we go back to that other topic for a second? And here, I'll go ahead and get this one correct as well. All right, got that one right. Notice now we're 3/4 of the way filled in there. And now it gives me another one. Let's see, I'll go ahead and get this one right as well. So 2. Okay, so look at that. Way to go. You completed one of 3 objectives. So that circle is done. I'm completely finished with that type of question, and I won't see any more like that. This bar up here is kind of overall how far through the assignment are you, and it makes sense that I'm a little over 33% of the way through because I've got 1 out of the 3 objectives done. All right, now it's going to kick me back to the one that I was struggling with a bit, and let's go ahead and continue to struggle with it. All right, same sort of thing, shows me those answers. Now what it'll do is it'll take an excerpt, a lot of times it's from our own textbook, and it'll put it in here and say, all right, here's the part of the textbook that really has to do with this part you're struggling with. Why don't you take a look at these things? Gives me some examples. Then it gives me one to work on here. Well, let's see, I'll pick that. And I can always click more instruction. I can click view instruction. And this time it'll give me a video to watch instead of just a textbook excerpt. So what it does is when it senses you're having trouble with something, it'll give you resources. It'll give you parts of the textbook. It'll give you videos. And then, of course, the thing I hope you noticed is that it always gives you detailed algebra as well. I kind of went through that quickly on those ones that I was getting correct, but there was algebra involved in those, and it'll show you step by step what it is that you should have done. So you're just trying to fill out all the circles, and then when you've done that, this bar will be completely filled in, and then you'll have the full credit for that assignment. So those are Newton Alta assignments, right? Just done 100% online. Now let me go back to standard 3 here. I was using standard 5 just because it was an easier assignment to kind of demo with. But this is the one we were looking at earlier. And so one of the things I want to point out here is notice there is the rubric, there is the textbook, there were my video notes that you needed to take notes on. There are the supplemental videos that are just optional to help you if you need them. And then there was your homework assignment. The thing I want you to notice is I have this organized so that the stuff that is indented is important, but there's nothing required of you, okay? The stuff indented is there to help you, but there's nothing required for you to do. The stuff that's not indented, the stuff that's all the way to the left, that's an action item for you to be doing. So video notes, that's an action item for you. Doing a Newton assignment, you've got to do that. So that's kind of the way to approach this, is anything far to the left, you have to do it. Then we move on, there's a couple more textbook sections to look at. Then there's video notes, which you do need to do. Supplemental videos that are there if you need them. And then there's another Newton assignment down here. And then the last thing here is written assignment. And oh, I guess you're not supposed to be able to see this right now. I forgot to go back into my my student mode, but I guess this doesn't hurt to show you. This is something invisible to you right now. This is the key, the answer key for this assignment here. But let me go ahead and go into my student view so I can show you that assignment as you'll see it. So written assignments are just where I want to get a look at your work, or maybe it's they're types of questions that don't really go well with Newton Alta, something along those lines. I will assign problems in these written assignments. Now, if I click on this one, the first thing it says, complete the problems from the following document and then attach your work. So what I'll be doing is, first of all, I'll be opening this up. And this has a series of problems for me to do. Sometimes written assignments are just problems that I've written out myself, like this. Other times they'll have textbook questions that I want you to do. Just it'll vary from assignment to assignment. So I'll do this and I'll just do it on my own notebook paper, right? So you'll just have it, your own piece of paper. You don't need to print this out or anything, but just do these problems on your own paper. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take pictures of all the pages of your work for that assignment, and then you're going to attach them here. Now, if you have one of those nice programs that turns multiple pictures into PDFs, that's wonderful. I love that, but I don't require that of you. If you want to take individual pictures just with a cell phone or something like that, and then get on to Canvas with your cell phone and attach them that way, that's totally fine too. Just as long as your images get uploaded here. And if I have trouble seeing one of them, I'll let you know. So those are written assignments. Let me just show you real quick an example of a written assignment where you have book work assigned, not just problems that I've written out. Let's try this. Let's try this one. So written assignment 6. Click on that. So up here, there's both ones that I've written out and some book work to do. So notice here, there's a little link. This will take you directly to section 3.4 of the book, where you'll be able to find these problems to do. And then also, I've put a little link to the back of the book, which has odd answers. And so you can go through and check 17, 21, 23, and all those odd problems in the back. So when I take a look at these assignments and I guess grade them, you can just know that I'm just going to be checking to see if you did the odd problems. I'm going to expect that you checked your work on those. And then I'll focus more on the even problems. And so do make sure that after you do these problems that you do click on this and go and check out, did I get 17 right? Did I get 21 right? Etc. So when we think about, what are the assignments you got to do, it's Newton Alta assignments and it's written assignments. And those are basically the two flavors of assignment that you're going to see. All right, so how do you keep yourself on track in the class? Let's click on the calendar here. And we're in December here, so let's go to January. All right, so first of all, at the very top of each day, you're going to see what it is that you should be doing that day. So by Tuesday, you should finish the orientation videos that, of course, you're watching right now, and then also complete pages 1 through 6 of the video notes, right? So having those notes, taking notes while you're watching the video for pages 1 through 6 of that set of notes. Then Wednesday, you should be doing standards 1 through 5, pages 7 through 14 of the video notes. And then the first time you have actual assignments due, you have 2 Newton Alta assignments that are due on Thursday the 5th. So one of the things that you'll notice is that these 2 assignments go along with this set of notes. So there's always a day between when I present material and when you have to have that assignment actually turned in. So think of this day in the middle as the one to try to get these done by, but then when you have questions, you can, of course, meet with me on Zoom or make other arrangements to get some help. As far as due dates go, what happens is if you are late, and by the way, these are due at midnight, so you have till 11:59 p.m. on Thursday to get them finished by. But if you are late, you can still do them. What it does is it takes 50% off your grade. Now, I really don't mean for this to be a punitive thing. If you reach out to me and just say, hey, I need a little more time on this particular assignment, I need some help on it, then I'm usually very happy to just say, okay, no problem, and take away the 50% deduction. 50% deduction is just there to make sure you stay on track. So if you ever need an exception, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. The thing that's important to me is just you learning the material. But you can imagine that if I just didn't have due dates, then things could start to snowball if you miss a few days in a row. So I'm just trying to prevent that. So that's our calendar. It also, the student hours, if you click on the student hours, this will pop up, and this is also the link that takes you directly to my Zoom student hours. So that's just kind of a nice, convenient thing. All right, so finally, let me go back to our main page here. Finally, I purposefully did not go into the standard one module immediately. So the standard one module is kind of intimidating, to say the least, okay? So standard one, the reason it's so long is because standard one, the topic is reminding you of how to solve all the types of equations that you solved back in, your algebra 1 and 2 classes. So there's kind of a lot of different things happening, but basically it's just solving equations. So what's important to note here is there is a ton of optional material involved. So what I've done is I've put in content that if you ever feel like, let's just use these video notes for an example. So here's the first video notes you need to be doing in this section. Standards 1 through 5 notes, pages 1 through 3. Let's say you watch this set of notes and you're just like, he's talking about things in there like I'm supposed to know them, but I don't remember those. Well, then what's likely is that it's the stuff that would be in this optional material. So this is just kind of optional prerequisite material that you can look at if you want. There's also Newton assignments that, again, are optional. You do not need to do them, but they're just there if you feel like you need some extra resources. So just know, like, all this stuff that's way indented here, this is all just optional stuff that is prerequisite material, and you very well may know it already. So, but I just wanted to provide it here so that you do have easy access to it. So as you go through standard one, don't be too intimidated by the length. Just still use that rule of, okay, anything that's on the far left here is an action item. So I'm going to do these video notes. I'm going to do this Newton assignment. Then I'm going to do these video notes and this Newton assignment. And it's just if I feel like I'm getting stuck in one of these spots that I might go and work on some of this kind of material that's prerequisite stuff to kind of remind me. But what I would suggest is if you really kind of hit a wall on some of these required parts, you should definitely reach out to me, because I could probably be really specific, like, oh, if that's what you're struggling with, then just focus on this, on factoring polynomials, or something like that. That way you don't have to go through and do all of it, because there is a lot there. So for standard one, just like I said, the stuff that's required of you is this stuff that's all the way over to the left. All right, so that's just kind of the basics. Like I said, I'm going to go into how assessments are going to work, how your grades are going to work in the next video, which won't be nearly as long as this one, I don't think, but hopefully this gives you a sense of the lay of the land. So again, just start here, right? To make sure you do the introduce yourself forum. And then after that, even though class doesn't officially start until Tuesday the 3rd, you can start immediately in this class. And so that might be nice, because the class does get started kind of fast. There's a lot of content in it. And so if you want to get a head start, by all means, go ahead and do that. All right, I look forward to speaking with you, whether it's in person, on Zoom, throughout the quarter. And anytime you have questions, just reach out to me. Using the Canvas messaging system works really well. My phone number is also in the syllabus, so just please don't hesitate to reach out. All right, thanks.